This is Rick, and if you're new around here, or just not really good at doing your own homework, I'm a good spot to come to. I'm going to because I'll do all the homework for us. I don't care. I spent a lot of time not doing homework as a kid. I used to steal the teachers' the manuals and stuff like that. I had a book that had all the answers in it. Isn't that kind of funny? Because now I've got a book that I'm finding all the answers to, and it's kind of neat. But anyways, what I do is I've been kind of like going over the Bible, reading it, by the word, by the letter, and trying to see what the Spirit has to tell me, And it's not nothing like something has to come and whisper in your ear, because what the spirit of the text is actually is how things are written. There's a formula. There's a formula and a cadence within this, within our Bible. And at this particular time and juncture of the Bible, it's at the beginning. So it's introducing these different energy fields, or these different things. They really are. And so I would say, like, we have the beginning when God created man, not mankind. Okay, I've messed that up a bunch of times, but I can see how they get the queer text mixed up, because people say mankind for man. So maybe that's one of the reasons why it's so terrible. But when God created man, all right, and it's really a singular situation, a singular form. And what it is actually talking about is the mind. And because males and females have a mind, they just decide, I guess they're just going to talk about this. They're still included, the male and the female, but we're talking about the right and the left sides of our brain. And whenever they have children, this is the firstborn that's you and me, are the sacrifices. We're the beast in these shows or in these stories and stuff like that. And you'll see how this starts to appear now, because we finally got some things to kill. We had Adam and Eve, which is just really the beginning of consciousness. Where now it's time to know each other, and the word knowing, is to mean to have sex with. But in these situations in this Bible, these people, they don't have sex to have children. She gets them from God. So these are promised children, because there's no knowing, especially these first ones, like Mary didn't have to have a baby by Joseph, her husband. None of these. All of these have had them miraculous births. That's one of the other factoids that you see as we dissect every one of these things. There's got to have that. You've got to sacrifice the firstborn in order to, and that killing, these ideas of slaying each other, slaying and killing and stuff like that, is really this is the trip going up into heaven. This is the way to the way that they talk about separating from the skin and taking off this coat and going up there naked and stuff like that. So it's all along those lines. But the word new, they're not having sex now. Because they all say that God gave me this, and I'd like to hear my mom say, "Oh my God, God gave me you," I said, "Really? I think Dad gave you me, God gave you what's inside of me, and that's basically the way you've got to believe in that stuff, You got this, just that it, writes your mind into the right, it's good to know I don't know, stay an idiot, enjoy your poverty, okay? But there's a lot of things that can be answered with these. So, after we have now the marriage of the lower mind has taken place, and they're Adam and Eve, or Adam, if you want to believe this here, was moved on out. He says, and man was removed, so he drove out man. and then they place this stuff in the east. This is this little cherubim and things like that. You'll see this coming to light later on, because the cherubims, those are the things that protect this plane, keep you from coming into this spot. This is another one of those situations where the flame and the burning sword that can go any direction, happens to do with, the four things of man, and it turns around. That's where you get your horsemen and Jesus coming in on with the flaming, with red eyes of fire and a sword that cuts both ways or all ways. It's the truth. So it's really cool, because all of those elements are in these stories right now, and they're all going to show up later on in the New Testaments. But anyways, you'll find that this is another Jesus story, okay? Because anyone that, if you could find, everyone was trying to kill Jesus, right? And we find out that Jesus is us, and we find that we are the Lamb of God, so, we're out to kill ourselves. So we are actually Cain. We're the firstborn of Adam and Eve, all right? And the brother that they bring in, which is Abel. Abel is a person of yourself. The brother is yourself. This is in the natural body. They would say your brother in you is really you. It's your personality. It's you. And of course, he kills this and goes up and meets the Lord. He doesn't like the fact that this one here is a tiller of the land. He chose his brother, who was a shepherd. So, he rose up and killed his brother, who's the shepherd, which is really him. That means he brought in the beautiful things. He brought in the shepherds, the flock. This is what they want up there. Why did you kill him? And he says, well, if I did something bad, am I their brother's keeper? And he says, I can hear your brothers, crying. The blood is slipped down into... because this is the earth. This is what they're trying to cleanse. All right. He says, anyone, I curse you, and you're going to be running around like a vagabond, and what is the other word? I'm going so fast because I just absolutely love this story. I do now. Why art thou so wroth? Why is that so wroth? Was it angry? He says, I don't know. Well, I work and 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 I work. I said, damn, Well, if that's what you feed from, then that's what's going to happen. That's what is going to be you. That is going to be what you feed from. I'm going to tell you this right now. It says, the Lord said to Cain, it says, if thou dost well, shalt thou not be accepted. And if thou dost well, then sin lieth at the door, and unto that shall be his desire, and unto he shall be that desire, and thou shalt rule over him, which is your desire. So but these things, after a while, you get enough of that. So Cain talked with Abel. Came to pass. That's a word. Came to pass. This is when they're in the field. This is you're going into meditation. So it came to pass. They use this word a lot, and he rose up, and he met with the Lord, and he hid his face. These are dark sayings, which means that they mean something else, just like us shooting the bull, chewing each other's ears off, stuff like that. All right. So what he did is when so Cain, which remember these people are a part of you. It's not an outside guy, Moses' brother Aaron did all the talking for him. This is the intelligent side of ourselves. It's our personality that we wind up killing because we have to hate ourselves. Remember, our brothers and sisters and everybody. So this is just a first example of such killing of your family. All right. He says, so they're in the field when Cain rose up against his brother and killed him. That means he killed himself. Okay. All right. The Lord said to Cain, "Where is Abel, thy brother?" "I know not. Am I my brother's keeper?" My dad would have slapped me. Who in that? What? What hast thou done? His blood cried to me from the ground, and nowhere thou cursed this. And now you are cursed, from the earth. It says, which had opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. So this, again, we'll know this later on, but by thy hand is about power. And that right hand in the right place, holding on to the right rod, is thy power, you know. And it says here, so the Lord said to Cain, what is the, and now thou art cursed from the earth, which opened her mouth and received your brother's blood from thy hand. When thou tillest the earth, it will not henceforth yield unto her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shall thy be on the earth. So this is a fugitive, what, you're running away, there's no home, you know, you're lost souls. This is what you're going to be. But he's put a mark on your head, and this is what he says, I'm going to be permanent. Behold, he says, you know, what's going to happen? You know, now I'm going to be a fugitive on earth. You've thrown me out of the you know, the land. Everywhere I go, someone's going to be trying to kill me now. What's going to happen? I can't leave, you know. So, you know, this is really fun. This is a fun play, because anyone who finds him is going to, there's a mark that says, kill him. So there's nowhere he can go on earth. If somebody finds him, the Lord says, you know, he's got this little mark on his head that says, kill him. You know, and that mark is that part of, is about your stone, all right? If you ever use it, you know. And that if you did, he was going to be revenged. It's going to be venged sevenfold. So there's that 7 coming in, all right? And his vengeance for this killing is going to come sevenfold. All right, that's just 7. So it's the idea of the chakra. He is introducing the chakra system now. I know they have already in the 6 days, but this is the 2nd time, and now they get names. All right. It is the family tree, okay, and it's kind of fun and interesting. I'm not going to go through all the years and things like that, because it'll take forever, you know, but later on it'll be fun just to do it, because I have a notion of what they will add up to, okay. And remember, if someone was around for 400 years, that's the number 4. If someone was around for 130 years, that's 13, that's 3, that's 4. That means they've been around before they died. It's their years. That's that 4-fold, you know, he died, you know, and all these numbers can add up to like 12, and that 12 means 3. So that's the ooh, you know, that's a fulfillment of something. When he died. So, you know, and he died. So you'll see that there's going to be a lot of 7s in there. There's going to be a lot of 9s. There's going to be a lot of 4s. But a mess of 12s, which are 3s. All right? I know that sounds kind of crazy. I'm dyslexic, and I'm just tossing these numbers around like there's nothing. All right, but anyways, it is so hard. Okay, so we got to the point that, you know, we've got Cain running around now. Wherever he goes, there's going to have somebody killing him. There's going to be punishment. The 7, which is, you know, it's the first time that we're going to have some kind of revenge that was being taken out for the blood being spilled by his brother. All right, something's going to happen. And Cain went out in the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod. This is on the east of Eden. Okay, so, you know, this is the idea that this is the Kundalini. And if you can find this winds up, I would believe that he would wind up being what would be considered the serpent, you know. when it comes down to it. He gives birth to Enoch, and Enoch has the story about the fallen angels, which is going to be coming up soon, because this is where, we actually fall from grace and things. It's not at the idea that the woman tricked someone down at the beginning of it. I think that's false. I think that's wrong. But I think our uppings and comings is coming up soon. But if you were to read right after this point where he left the presence of the Lord, this is when you turn your head or not, when you can't see or you don't see the Lord. What you have done is, that's the beginning. That's one. I mean, then it's 2 is his next family member, and 3, whatever, and then 4, and then something, and then 5, and more family members, and 6, and then on the 7th is the 7th he's revenged. The 7th is the day Cain shall be avenged sevenfold. And then it's just really funny, but that's how it worked. It went 7, went down through all these, and then on the 7th line of family members, this is where it talks about someone's gotten revenge for this, And in the process of this, Adam knew his wife again and birthed Seth, all right? For God appointed another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew. God appointed this to her. She knows that her husband ain't doing this. What new is that it came from him. She is a part of him, all right? So, and to Seth also bore a son, Enos, all right? And then bore, and called him to the, all right. And so he was born a son too, and thus began this idea of calling the name upon the name of the Lord. People beginning to call upon the name of the Lord. This is the beginning of prayer, I would say. This because it's a type of prayer, this meditation that you go inside. So what we have with the birth of this family, and you don't have any more from